We did $887,000 last year.
Wow.
Girl that sold me my truck, like she did a great job, and then we're never going to talk again. I don't care about that part. I like making sales, but like I like what happens afterward.
What are the things that you guys think you do better than most other gyms? Like, why is it that you guys are a lot bigger than the average CrossFit gym?
When you feel like you have all these skills and things to offer people and you want to help people, but you're not taken care of, you just can't have the impact that you want.
Hello and welcome to this very special episode of Gym World Worldwide. I am your host, riding solo today, John Franklin. We are in Nashville, Tennessee, in a Dolly Parton-themed hotel for the Two Brain Business Tinker Meetup. And this is a great opportunity to meet with some of the best and brightest gym owners in the program. And my guest today is someone who has been long overdue on the show. It is a Canadian gym legend in the CrossFit space, Mr. Jay Rhodes of CrossFit Outlaw North. Welcome.
Thank you, man.
I just have to dap you. You know, we've known each other for a long time now, but for those who are unfamiliar with you, give us like the highlight reel of how you went from not being a gym owner to being a gym owner.
It's funny because when I recount it all, it makes sense looking back, but gym ownership was never on my radar. Fitness has been a part of my life as long as I can remember. Like, grew up sports, like heavy into track and field and football, and went through kin and teachers college. So like it just worked. But even when I went to my CrossFit level 1 the first time in 2010, they ask you when you exit, would you ever open a gym? I was like, no. Like, how do you even do that? Coached at a gym for probably about a year and a half before. Truthfully, I was building a following within, competing and within that gym. And like, I was a problem client. Like, I was that guy that was building the uprising, like without, I was young and stupid. Wasn't my intention, but it was happening. And yeah, I was just like, I'm going to keep doing my thing, and whatever happens, happens. And then,
so you were like a competitor that was at another gym. And this is like, you said 2010. So when did you start CrossFit?
2009. So
okay.
This was 2012 now.
Yeah.
So I had a few regionals under my belt, and I was like hell bent on making the games and all that. And so, when you're passionate about something, people take notice and they follow. Some people will follow you and everything. And it was becoming a problem at that gym, like, which I totally understand now. And yeah, so we just started kind of like, what if we did our own thing? I think someone even said it before, like, oh, Jay and Lace, they're going to open a gym. Like, what are you talking about? And I went to the games with the Outlaw Way coaching staff, and I came back, and Lace had a productive conversation with her dad, and he owns some buildings, and he had a vacant space, and she had keys, and it was like game on.
And that's your wife, just for context.
Lacey, yes.
Yeah. And so she was a competitive athlete as well.
Yep. She's super athlete for sure. Yeah.
And so your guys' idea was to open a more competitive CrossFit gym?
No, no. We did not want to do that. But that was sort of our early experience. When you're doing that, you attract those people that want to kind of follow you and do what you're doing and put in more time. And I wouldn't say that we necessarily attracted like the average person early on, even though like, it's funny. There was a magazine article, like a CrossFit magazine way back. I don't know if those things still exist, but
I think they're all out of business
probably. Now. And they ran a whole thing on us, and we specifically said like we were not looking to be the competitive gym, and they ran it as we wanted to be the competitive gym. I was like, who's doing this? Who's writing this?
All right, so people who are unfamiliar with you came up during the early era of CrossFit, 2009, 2010. You were a regional competitor. Your wife is also a regional competitor. And from what you were telling me before, you guys were like the problem people within a gym. And you decided that you could do a better job running a gym yourself. Am I getting the story right here?
Well, yeah. I don't want to completely paint myself as like the bad boy either. Like there was something that went, I mean, early viral days, whatever that would have been back then. So, I mean, you might have even seen it not knowing it was me. So when I first got to that gym, I'd already been doing CrossFit for a year. It was the first time I'd been in a CrossFit gym. Like I'd been to a regional already. And I showed up and, you know, like I was good at it. And people are like, oh, this like isn't even hard for you and this and that. I got that feedback. Like, you finished there in half the time that we do. And so I put together this video because there weren't resources. I was trying to get better, and I was like videoing myself and using it for feedback and form and all this stuff. And I only had video from about 6 months onward. I didn't even have the really early stuff. And so I just, this one day I had this vision of what it would be, and it was like this. I called it my journey into CrossFit, right? And it was like, I got into CrossFit. I wasn't super happy. I came out of university, 1.5 year gap of like really having purpose around fitness, and I don't know, it was hard. It was a hard experience mentally. I wasn't sleeping well, and then just diving in, and I used this video to like tell a story, and it went to 100,000 views on YouTube in a week back in 2010, and it was just meant to be for the members of this gym. Like I wanted to inspire them, and like, this is hard. I just have more background maybe, and so I wasn't trying to be like the bad guy, but yeah, the further it went along, like to satisfy my goals, I had to train differently than them. And then I got a job teaching, so I couldn't train in off hours during classes. So I had to do like, the old story, my own stuff around all them. And then they, people start noticing what you're doing, and then they start following me, and then got to the point where more people sort of wanted to do that than follow what was being offered.
So you built a cult following inside the existing CrossFit gym.
Whoops.
And then you and your wife, your now wife,
Yeah.
decided to start a business together. And you said it was just something where her father-in-law had an empty space you guys could take over. How did that work?
Yeah. So he owns some buildings in Stony Creek. So it's like a sort of neighboring city. We weren't looking for that the same pool of clients or anything, but yeah, I went to the CrossFit Games to help coach some athletes in 2012, and I came back and she had keys, and it was game on.
And how did it go? Were you like a runaway success from the very beginning?
I mean, I don't even know how I'd have measured that back then, which we'll probably get into. It felt like it. I was like, oh my God, we have it. Like when we talked about starting a gym, I thought it would be the size of this hotel room, and it was like 2,500 square feet, and it was like high ceilings. It felt like it. And we did get a pretty good following, but yeah, I mean, it didn't really, it seemed sort of like maxed out after, I don't know, a year or 2 years, like, 50, 60 people, the hardcore ones that wanted to train 2 hours a day.
And that was like, this was like the if you build it, it will come era of CrossFit, where like if you open the doors, you'd be able to get some members in.
I mean, I know your story of like how we didn't know marketing or anything. We knew passion for training and coaching. And like, I mean, I think you have to build it and let people know it's there. We didn't even have a sign. We had no sign on the storefront for months.
So 50 to 60, you're saying, and that was like, what were you charging back then? That was
$135 a month.
So was that even like a full-time income for you guys, or were you still working?
No, not even close. Yeah, not even close. No, I was supply teaching, and I think I would teach as much as I could, because I maxed that out. My best years of teaching were like $29,000, $30,000
a year.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's Canadian money too, so it's like 15,000.
It might have been better back then, but yeah, I mean, they were. I look back at that time, and even then, I kind of had one foot in each pool. Like I wasn't all in on the gym. It was kind of like a hobby, and it really satisfied a personal need. And then the teaching was like, I mean, teachers make a lot of money in Canada. You get, after 10 years, even back then, you're like $95,000, and you get,
really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. In Ontario, teachers make a lot of money, man.
And so this was just
best
like
pensions benefits in North America, pretty much.
So this wasn't like a get rich quick scheme. This was a passion project.
What, supply teaching and opening a gym?
Yeah, I was saying opening the gym.
Absolutely not. I'm not. I mean, I'm not that kind of person. That's never been the biggest motivator. It was definitely a passion project, and like, kind of like, we can do this.
Okay, so like you're doing like $8,000 in top line, and so
on a good month.
on a good month,
Yes.
assuming all those people were paying every month. And
Yeah, I mean, we had some systems, but like we had some people paying cash. We had people doing trades. Like it was a mess.
perfect.
Yeah.
And just to hook the listener, like where is the business at today?
We did $887,000 last year.
Wow.
Where I come from, that's a lot of money.
And for
One location,
one location, and
5,000 square feet now. So we're bigger, and there's a lot going on now. And like, yeah.
for a CrossFit gym in Canada, that's pretty. And you're not, to be clear, like for people who don't know Canada, like you're not in like a big ass town, right?
We're like between Toronto and Niagara Falls.
Okay.
So the further you get out from Toronto, I mean, so it's like Toronto, Mississauga, Oakville, Burlington, and then you cross a bridge, and then there's Hamilton. Hamilton is like, so we're technically part of Hamilton. It's like 560,000 people. It's not a small place. Stony Creek is sort of like, it's been amalgamated into Hamilton, and there's like 60, 70,000 people where we are. And then like if you drive 15 minutes out toward Niagara from where we are, you're in like wine country.
Right.
And if you drive toward Lake Erie, it like gets into boonies very quick.
So it's not rural, but you got some people out there.
We're kind of like in this really nice in between where we've got pretty good pools to draw from. We're not in Toronto. We're not in the boonies.
So you don't have like all the people from all the concepts you have to compete with in Toronto, but you don't.
No, definitely not. I mean, gosh, I've seen, since we've been in the last 5 years, I've seen 2 boot camps close, Orange Theory close, F45 close, the closest CrossFit to us close.
Yeah, because to do those type of numbers in a CrossFit gym is particularly impressive as well. Like in CrossFit, it seems like everyone kind of like, even the best gym owners start to stall out at that like $30,000-$40,000 a month mark.
I mean, I remember thinking we had made it when we were hitting 20.
Yeah.
Like really made it. And I mean, that was really just kind of the beginning of I mean, there's so many things that have happened since then.
And someone hearing like your gym is doing almost 900,000, they're going to assume, oh, he must have like 600 members. Like how many members?
I mean, there's a lot going on. So, I mean, I don't have it all in front of me, but we launched a kids program last year that you'd probably contribute 35 people to that. That was just in September. We've got a postnatal program. At any given time, there's probably 50 women in there. A Legends program, so like a 55 plus, alternate programming, low impact stuff. That's not huge, maybe 15 people. Some personal training. I mean, there's a fair amount of group members. I mean, it's always a bit of a moving number. Like right now, across everything, all programs, even the kids that are coming once a week, there's 270 people maybe.
Okay. And so that's including all your supplemental stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, yeah, let's kind of talk. I think you hinted to it a little bit, but, for all those gyms that are kind of stuck in that like 30-ish a month mark, like what are the things that really can get you moving past that?
Yeah, I mean, so for
what
us,
did you do?
Yeah, I mean, because there's lots of different ways to do it. I mean, as you've told on this podcast, but so for us, getting to 20-ish, like that was 2017. That was before you reached out about Two Brain Marketing, so that skyrocketed things too. But we just found that like we had started to implement some of the concepts that we're learning of like anti-fragility, more revenue streams. People will pay more for personal training, and it was still the Jay and Lace show. Like we had a couple of coaches that were doing 2 hours a week for trades, very minimal. Like no one was doing anything beyond that, and we just ran out of hours. Like we just couldn't do anymore. We were all both teaching like 4 days a week too, 4 or 5 if we could.
You were still, you guys were still doing your jobs?
Yeah, man, from 2012 to 2018, we didn't run morning classes because we knew something had to break. So we didn't offer morning at all. Lace did. She ran like an 8 a.m. of all times. She had a different job for a little bit before she was teaching, not to throw too many things around here, but like the days were like, I'd wake up at 7 o'clock, I'd go teach, I'd come home, I could grab a half-hour nap if I could, and then we ran evening classes. We ran anything during the day. It was like 4 hours at night. I'd coach 2, she'd coach 2, and we'd train the other hours and swap, go home at 9 o'clock. Kind of, if one of us got home a little before the other, argue that they hadn't started dinner yet, go to bed, do it all over again.
I don't think I knew this. When did you? So how big was? Did you quit first? Did you both quit? Like, and how big was the business when you guys decided to? Because it's like a big deal, right?
Yeah.
So what you're saying, you're giving up like all your benefits. And,
well, I mean, we didn't technically have them because we weren't full time.
Okay.
Right. So we hadn't crossed that threshold. The more I taught, the more I knew I didn't want to do that. I'm not the best employee. Like when things don't, there's too much in a school system. It just doesn't make sense to me. And I just can't blindly follow that. Coming back to when we had crossed 20, we started to hire a couple of more coaches. And then I think I was going through mentor training in like 2018 early on. And Jay Williams asked me, he's like, can you get to sort of this next level? I think we had touched 30 maybe a couple of times. He's like, can you get to like whatever, 35, 30, 40 and beyond without a full-time coach? And I said no. And we had a coach that was sort of hinting at that. She didn't like the job that she was in, and within 48 hours, she had given her 2-week notice, and we hired her on full-time.
So she was the first full-time employee of your gym?
Yeah, for sure.
Before you guys?
No, I mean we were. Like
Yeah.
I don't count. I never have looked at us as that way. I mean, we definitely were. That was maybe later 2018. So again, going back, like, because I think that was the year that I let go of the teaching credentials. We had started with Two Brain Marketing. I remember, like, I was so skeptical of that stuff. Like, it was almost like to our own detriment. Like, you could tell me, hey, I'll drop 50 new members on you. I'm like, what is that going to do to what I have right now? Like, I don't know what that looks like. And so I always pulled back from that. But I remember you were telling me, like, look, you can control it. You can pull back from it. You can turn it up. You can turn it down. I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. And yeah, from January to May of that year, we went from like 100 to 150 clients. And that's when, things started to ramp up pretty good. I let go of my teaching credentials. We did a trip to Europe that spring. And before we left, like, that was the last time I ever taught.
And when did Lacey go all in?
Man, she was later. She still did some supply teaching through like COVID times. Not much. It was like you have to do 3 days a year to keep your credentials. And so I remember her doing like 3 online. Yeah, basically around then.
So you guys were like, by 2020, you guys were both just all in.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say 2019 even.
And what did that do to the business? Like, were you able to, it sounds like you were in that 40 area. Like, when did you really start cooking here? Or was it just like a gradual, every month things just got a little better? It's been really gradual.
Like, it really has. I did this thing up for Coop because I'm so curious. Like, my mind, I love looking at metrics and like giving myself goals and looking back at things. And I totaled up the revenue from every quarter of our business across the last 10, 12 years. And I think there was, I can't remember the exact number, but I want to say it was only like 11 times that we didn't beat the previous quarter. And like 5 of them were through COVID. So it's like we're always sort of like figuring out how to move forward. Not at like any exponential rate, but like, man, time will get you there.
Yeah, I see a lot of people who like jump out of the gym too early or open a second location because they're just like it's not growing fast enough.
I bought barbells for a second location, a full set of them in 2017. It would have been an absolute disaster.
And then instead of taking a step forward, it ends up being a step backwards. And so a lot of the people that we've kind of liked in this show have just been doing it for a long time, and each quarter gets a little better than the last quarter, and then you wake up and you got this big business, which is cool. What are the things that you guys think you do better than most other gyms? Like, why is it that you guys are a lot bigger than the average CrossFit gym?
It's a good question. It's hard to answer. I care so much about what we do. Like, I just, at this point, I don't even know what else I would do. I don't know. We pour a lot into it, and I don't know how to answer. I dropped into a big name gym here yesterday, and it's beautiful. It's huge. There's all sorts of cool stuff in there. So, I mean, I'm a drop in. I'm not trying to make huge judgments on anything, but like, it was a fairly small class, and like it was really well run. It was professional, but I was like the amount of like interaction between what I can assume was the members and the coach. I was like, there was just an energy to it missing, where I think we do a really good job at creating a space where people want to be and connect. Aside from like, we know what we're doing with training You know, we've made a lot of mistakes over the years. Like, it hasn't been just, I mean, I talk about it's been kind of up and to the right over time, but like there's been a lot of mistakes in there early on that we've learned from. So I think my brain is very forward thinking and like just trying to figure out what can we do next? How can we double the business, but how can we improve by a couple of percent? And that's all you need to do. Like, all you need to do is figure out a few things, and when they work, maintain them, and then figure out a couple more things, you know?
And just, you're making it sound
Such a boring
easier
answer.
than it is.
I know.
For context, I guess, how many hours a week do you think you're like working on your business or in it? And just how many hours you put into your gym now?
I mean, I coach a little bit here and there. Like, we have 3 full-time coaches now, and so my job is really like providing opportunity for everyone and making sure that this thing keeps moving forward. I can still walk up and down every class. I'm the mayor of the gym. I kind of walk. I know everybody. I can go have a conversation with anybody. I'm not in a whole lot of delivery. I choose to coach a little bit. I just, you know, there's been periods of time where I haven't, so I miss it. So like, I mean, it's literally like 1 or 2 hours a week, and by choice. I do all the lead nurture, all the sales, all the marketing. I mean, it ebbs and flows. Like, I'm so comfortable with it now. I've got good boundaries around it. You know, I put it away during family time and stuff. I'm way better than I was a few years ago with like just being on my phone. But it's kind of like speed matters. So like, you're kind of always looking for something. Like, I don't know, if I had to put a number, I'd say like there's probably 10 to 15 hours of work.
I guess kind of what you're alluding to. It's not like a clear this 3-hour window. Like you're bopping in and talking to people. And, and is it just that it's important? Like, no one's going to do a better job than you at selling, or you enjoy it, or you want to be that first contact point?
I don't think I'm a great salesperson. Like, I'm not as much. I have thousands of reps. I go off script because I just like talking to people and I like connecting to people. And sometimes it bites me. Like, I'll probably, you know, always be closing. I probably could have done it right there, but I'm interested at like poking at something a little bit and figuring something out about someone. Then it's sometimes so hard to bring back to that, you know, emotionally high, like, I need to do this. And I recognize that too. But I really like being that first connection. I like knowing everybody in the gym. Like, I guess this maybe pulls it full circle to like why we do well is like, if I didn't know everybody and I couldn't, like, I look at like a sales job, you know, the girl that sold me my truck, like, she did a, you know, great job, and then we're never going to talk again. I don't care about that part. I like making sales, but like, I like what happens afterward. You know, if you join my gym and I say, you know, like, I see you progress in this and that, and 2 years later, I'm like, hey, John, you remember when you told me this when you signed up? And I can pull it back to that. I'm like, do you remember? You're like, can you see the amount of progress that you've had? Like, I know those things. Like, I remember those things about people.
Yeah, I mean, I a lot of the tinkers in the room, like, I sold them. The ones that have been there in a while, and I have a deeper connection with those people because you remember where they were versus where they are now.
Right.
And so, yeah, it could be. So maybe it's a cultural thing. Like, you can set the culture in the beginning there, and that's what helps you and makes it so you can work 10, 15 hours a week.
I'm fairly good at it, but I also, it just gives me purpose. Like, I really like doing it.
And Lacey's probably working 0 now, would be my guess.
So this is actually a big a piece of like our growth as a business and maturity and everything. We sort of separated our roles. I would say 2017, 18, like kind of when we were just talking about. I don't do as well with handling all the staff. I'm too sort of like visionary. I've got too many ideas. I don't filter them enough. I'll talk about things that are like 5 steps ahead of what they need. You know, I'll confuse people. I don't particularly like giving feedback that's not great. Like, you know, so it was like, she's just so much better at tackling that stuff. Like, she's better at just thinking through things that way. Yeah. So that's our staff and our team and everything just really started coming together when we did that. You know, it's like, I mean, I've grown and matured. Like, I'm not the person I was then, but it was like, you know, it's like, we're going to hold a staff meeting when Jay's got a problem with something. It's like, that's not how to do things.
You got 2 young kids, right?
Yeah.
One very young
5-week-old. Yeah. So, I mean, she likes variety in her day. So like, she's going in and she'll do some nutrition meetings. She'll meet with staff. She'll run a staff meeting. Like she's already done some of that stuff. It's very flexible. People ask us, oh, is she on like a mat leave? I'm like, well, what is that? As like we don't pay ourselves that way. We don't have it structured that way, but we've got it set up, thankfully, at this point where it is so flexible that like, it's like kind of.
I'm trying to think back when I was like starting off. That would have been a very stressful thing if we both relied on the gym. It just is not an issue because you've had the gym it was in a good position when you started your family.
Yes. So I mean that's maybe some of the benefit of having kids a little bit. Like I'm 40, she's 37, having kids a little bit later, where we've had time to really like build our business and our just our structure and everything. Yeah.
What are some of the other things that the business has provided? I know you got some cool stuff. You're building a little bit of a compound, built a compound. Didn't you? Or don't you got didn't you build a house?
Yeah, I mean, I'd call it a house, not a compound.
Well, don't other family members live adjacent to you?
No. Okay, so like, I mean, I might have mentioned this to you at some point along the way, because like, so we've built a house. We moved in at the end of August in 2023. It's a house that we bought. We lived in a little like tear down cottage type house. I wish we could have just renoed, but even like the foundation, the weeping tile, it all had to go. Her sister was like the real estate agent that helped us with it, and she's like, 10-year plan, knock it down and build. That was 2013. Like we had no money, no vision, but it was like that was still in the back of our mind. And it was like 10 years and 2 months to the day that we moved in. And like, that's with COVID delays and everything. So yeah, we had the house, we had the piece of land. 2 of her brothers and 1 sister have built houses around the corner from us. My wife is the youngest of 6.
That's a party.
Big Dutch family. They all live within walking distance. Her other sisters directly across the street, her other brothers around the corner down the street. And that's all 6. And then her parents are right beside the 3 houses that just got built.
You can see how that would be mistaken as a compound.
Yeah. Well, no. So there was actual talks at one point because her parents' lot is massive. Like you could chop it all up and you could go front and back and do an access street, and you could put 12 houses on it, probably, like good size houses. So there were talks at one point of like, because there's more people. So when the 3 houses that her siblings are in, that's where her grandparents were. And when they passed, they bought that land. I know it's a lot, but there were talks of when that happened, bulldoze it all, and then literally have a compound of like all of the houses and like a communal pool. I think that we have the best spot just around the corner with a little bit of separation. I love them all, but like I don't know. I want to like have a little bit of time
it's
to
close,
myself.
but not too close.
I mean, it's really freaking close, but it's not like you can see in my windows all the time.
Yeah.
Hey gym owners, are you looking for a way to generate more leads, close more sales, and increase client retention? Introducing Kilo. We are a software company that gives gym owners the tools they need to increase revenue and run a successful gym. With Kilo, you get a beautifully designed website to capture more leads, an integrated marketing automation platform to increase sales, and our gym management software so you can add new client memberships, process payments, and organize your class schedule. If you're ready to upgrade your gym management software, book a call at usekilo.com.
It sounds like you're making a career of a gym, and that's like something we talk about a lot in Two Brain, right? Because you have a lot of people who, these 10-year affiliates just closing or changing hands, selling for $0. And the goal, like, again, nobody got, most of those guys got into it around the same time as you, and it was just like, you're a fireman, a cop or whatever, and you do this on the side. And it's sad that after putting in, the blood, sweat, and tears it took to, like, keep a CrossFit gym successful throughout that time, that people aren't able to turn that into an actual, like, career. You can't retire off your gym. Like, for a gym owner who maybe is in that, like, spot where the business is doing okay, but it's not phenomenal yet, or maybe looks at you with, like, you got this house you've built and this big business and feels unattainable. Like, what are you telling someone like that?
You got to open yourself up to learning from other people. Like, if you haven't, and if you have, then there's something that is a problem. I was asked that recently, what advice would I give my 20-year-old self? And it was like, just open yourself up to learning from other people. Like, as much, like, I have narrative and I'm trying to solve problems all the time, but like, I don't have it all figured out. I don't even know if it'd be around still if I didn't reach out for help and like really have a few moments where I was like, stuff needs to happen. Like we need to make the uncomfortable decisions, and then gradually that stuff just gets easier. And then it's it's kind of like second nature that you just have to keep moving it along.
Yeah. So you were like one of the first Two Brain clients, right?
One of the original. I mean, I worked with Chris when he was doing 3-2-1 Go for a little while in 2015. Yeah.
And so you're
probably like a year prior to Two Brain. Yeah.
So you're like 10 years in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the people you see like come into these, you've probably seen a lot of people come and go from this mentorship program. And as a mentor yourself, you work with a lot of gym owners. So like, what's the difference? Is it just the ones who make it and have a lot of success are just coachable, or, like what separates people like you who have success from people who do programs like this and will say, hey, it's a scam,
Right. I mean, that's the $1 million question. I'm still amazed with people that just like you teach them something or they learn something and then they just do it. Like I sit in that sort of questioning phase and like I'm never going to be the first one to do something. And I've seen those people, like they move with speed. They just get there. Like, I mean, if someone's impressed with my story, there's people who have done it in like a quarter of the time. Understanding you don't have it all figured out and that you can learn from people, but also on the other side of the coin is having that like discernment of like you can't just blindly follow.
So like getting out of your way, but being able to like figure out what's credible, what's not credible. Is that the...
Yeah, I mean, there's an awareness. I think there's an awareness to understand, like, you're not going to have all the skills either. Like, what's the best role that you can be in, and then put other people in other roles. And like, some of it, like, there's the value ladder stuff, putting yourself in higher value roles and not, stop mopping the floors of your gym. Like, that's really low level stuff. And then there's reasons, like I talked about earlier, like I could get out of some of the roles that I'm doing, but like, I'm just not sure if it would be good for the business or me. Like, what do I do then?
Right.
I can do other stuff, but like I really enjoy it. Like, it gives me huge purpose, and like the amount of growth that the gym's had, I've had equally as much personal growth, making more money and everything. I'm just a nicer, more conscientious person than I was, and I always had that in me. I wanted to be that person, but when you feel like you have these skills and things to offer people and you want to help people, but you're not taken care of, you just can't have the impact that you want.
So you're 16 years into CrossFit and a dozen years into being an affiliate. You're still flying the flag. Mm-hmm. How are you feeling about CrossFit as like the company, and then also, the state of affiliates right now?
Mm-hmm. I've never particularly taken any direction from CrossFit HQ. I've never thought as them as my leader. I pay homage and pay money to them as a company for like, it's the methodology. I mean, that's their thing. It's like, yeah, anyone could have put together burpees and whatever. It's like, yeah, but they didn't. Like, it's a thing for a reason, right? And like it's beautiful. I believe in the methodology. I believe, there's nuances to it if it's programmed well and all that. But I've never really looked to them for like guidance on how to run my affiliate. Not that there has been much anyway, or leadership or anything. There was something that way back in the day, like Rudy, who ran the Outlaw Way, who who knows where he is now, but there was something that whenever and I'll pull this back around to what it means here, but like whenever the open workouts would be announced, everyone would all freak out and this and that. And he says, before you do anything, prepare to shut the fuck up. And it was just like, just listen to what it is and just have some thoughts. Don't just react so quickly, right? Like, let it sit a little bit. So like, when they announce, the affiliate fees going up, it's like, well, you guys didn't do yourself a favor by telling people it never would go up. That's not sustainable. I understand that because I own a business, and if I told people that, it's a big mistake, and we've had to raise rates and everything and whatever. I understand it. Our affiliate fee went up a few $1,000, and I mean, it's kind of the price to play. The price to play is still the thing where I saw like people, oh, I'm out. When's your affiliate fee due? Like 8 months from now. Like, you don't have to make that decision right now. Like, you can just kind of sit back a little bit and figure it out. Right. And I think back to like when Glassman, shot his mouth off and, all the, what was it? Floyd 19, he said, like, and it was just really, really like high tense times. You remember when people were posting that like black square thing on Instagram? I was like, oh, what's that about? I was like, oh, okay, like if that's what it means, like I guess I can get behind that. I just like took a black screenshot and I posted it on Instagram. I was like, it's a good thing. And then I had a couple comments coming through like, what are you doing to make it better? I was like, what? like I don't, what are you talking about? I just wouldn't have posted that. It's like, you can just lay low on things a little bit. You don't need to react. You don't need to react so quickly. Like, you know, like you don't need to have an opinion about everything, and you don't need to form that so quickly. To kind of pull it back to like group fitness, like, I mean, where I see it going, I think the world is like more disconnected, and, you know, AI, it's incredible, but like it doesn't replace being with people. It doesn't replace like true connecting with people. It seems like there's sort of like less and less places. That's what's special about the Tinker Group. I talked about that with them this morning, like connecting. Like, it's a room of people who are on a really similar path. You know, some are doing things that you haven't done before, and, you know, and some are new to the group, but like, you're not getting their Instagram highlight reel. There's no ego in the room. It doesn't last, right? And so, I mean, I really kind of like tried to model my gym after that, and just have it be a place that people want to be. And so whether it's CrossFit or not, or whether it's, you know, apps and Peloton and like the Lululemon mirror that you work out in, that ain't got shit on us, man.
So you're still in it to win it. That's what you're saying, and you don't have a strong opinion. You're saying not everyone needs one.
No, not really. I mean, I enjoy it. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's going away anytime soon. CrossFit, who knows? I don't know, man. Yeah, we'll just keep doing it, but under a different, like under just our name. I don't know.
All right. Well, they got a supporter in Jay Rhodes. Yeah. Well, dude, I don't want to take up too much of your time. If people want to follow along, get more information from you, where do they go?
Gym Instagram handle is on outlaw_north. My personal one is just Jay Rhodes, Jay Rhodes.
And if you want to find out more about us, you go to usekilo.com and you book a call with my friend Mateo Lopez, and he'll help you out, like he helped Jay go from 100 members to 150 members with a nice new website and some marketing automation. And, you know, with all those new members, you're going to need to manage them. And we have a gym management software solution that will do that for you nicely. So head over there, book a call with Kilo. And then in the interim, you know, if you got some value out of this, you like learning how people can go to one gym and turn that into this, you know, beautiful career and provide well for a family, share Gym World Worldwide with a gym owner in need. And that's all for now. We will catch you next week at Gym World. We love you.
I got one more. If you like my take on things, like I run a podcast basically through the gym. Like, I don't try to promote it or anything like crazy, but I just talk about things that I think matter and mean something to me. It's called Train for a Great Life.
That should have been the plug. That should have been the first plug.
I don't think to promote it. It's not. I'm not trying to make it the next thing. It's an attachment to what I do.
All right. We'll link to it down below. Thanks for taking the time to do this, man.
Hey.
Appreciate you as always.
My pleasure.